Hi, I'm Paul with MadCap Software, and today I want to tell you about the review process between MadCap Flare and MadCap Central. Now, this video I'm doing this from the owner's perspective. So I'm assuming that you're a Flare author. You're creating the reviews to send to Central for other people to take a look at. But I have another video, and I'll put a link to it at the very end of this one. And that one is from the reviewer perspective. And you might want to check that one out too, because just because you're a Flare author doesn't mean you won't sometimes be a reviewer. Another author might send you files to review. And so in that case, you just are changing seats a little bit here. So this video is going to be a little bit more involved. There's more to it when you are the owner as opposed to a reviewer. So that video is going to be a lot shorter. Now, what's so beneficial about these reviews with Central? Well, there's a lot of things going for it. Number one, Central's up in the cloud. And so that allows for multiple reviewers to be looking at and editing the same files at the same time. So they're seeing each other's comments and edits, and it just really streamlines the process. Number two, these reviews are in packages. So you might have a group of files that you want to send to people, but it's all related. And so you could just package that up, and it's going to make it easier to manage these things. So you give it a name, you send it up, and you can associate a review package with a table of contents so that the reviewers on the Central site are going to be able to see the TOC view if they want. So they see the intended structure of it, just how it's going to look in the output. And so maybe they want to review things in a certain order, and the TOC view is going to allow them to do that. So you can also create review packages, not only from Flare, but you can do this from Central too. Sometimes it might be more convenient to do it from Flare. Sometimes maybe it's better or more convenient to do it up in Central. And I'm going to show you both ways. You also have the ability to adjust these review packages after the fact. You've created them, you've sent them up, but then maybe you forget and you want to make changes to that review package. You can do that up on Central. That's really nice. Notifications, you're going to get automatically notified. Reviewers get automatically notified to push these files along throughout the process. It's a simplified editor also up in Central. So if you are a Flare author, you know that the editor in Flare, there's a ton of stuff in it. Well, reviewers, especially reviewers who aren't Flare authors, they don't need to see all that. They don't need to know about all of that. They just need a really simplified editor that allows them to just concentrate on the content, make edits, make comments, and submit the thing. And so that is really nice from the reviewer perspective. Branches. So Flare and Central, the file synchronization between the two is with source control and specifically Git behind the scenes. And Git supports branches. So we're going to talk about that soon, but that is a really, really nice thing to be able to send review packages according to certain branches. And also, once you get up into Central and you kind of have your management hat on and you just want to see what's going on, there's a lot of visibility into what is going on, the statuses of review packages and files and the reviewers, who's done what, where is the file along, the path, the process. So I think you're going to find that is really nice for you as the owner. Now, I am going to cover both in this video as we go along. You're going to see both Flare and Central because I want to show you the whole process, and it involves both of those. So that's what we're going to do. We're going to get into both of those. And the last piece of advice I have to give you is make sure that you are using the most recent version of Flare when you do this. Now, older versions of Flare weren't using packaging, right? You weren't bundling things together. So those older versions of Flare will still work in sending reviews. It's just that you're not going to take full advantage of the packages. So make sure that you upgrade to the latest version of Flare. All right, enough of that. Now I'm just going to take you through these different sections. We're going to go through the entire process. Let's get started. So we're going to begin here in MadCap Flare. I've got a little project open, and we are going to go through the process of creating a brand new review package from Flare. Now, the first thing you want to do is make sure that you are logged into Central through your Flare interface, because we have this communication going on between Flare and Central. And you can tell that I am logged in because my avatar up here, otherwise it would say log in. And you can also tell if you go to the MadCap Central window pane, here I'm logged in. And not only that, but my project is bound to Central. All right. Now, the other thing that you want to do is make sure that you're on the right source control branch. And this is what I was talking about earlier. Maybe you don't know what branching is. You're brand new to it. Okay. So you don't have to use what's called branching, but I highly recommend that you do it. And what this is it's your documentation, your project, sort of like different, states of your documentation. You might have your project in a state where this is the last thing that you published to your audience, and it's just final, it's out there. But now you have to do ongoing development for the next stuff that your company is trying to tell about, that your company is trying to put out there. And so you don't want to mix that with what's already been published. And so you create branches, and you might have several branches because maybe you've got several features and you're not sure when each one's going to be released. So don't want to go too far down a rabbit hole, but that's branching. And so I actually have created several branches, and you can tell down here in the lower right, it says master. That's sort of like my finished published version of my project. But I created several others: feature 1, feature 2, feature 3, hot fix, release. And this is something where if I were you and you're brand new to branching, I would check out this video series that I've done on source control. And within this video series, there are several videos that have to do specifically with branching. Trust me, it's going to save you a whole lot of time and headache if you embrace branching. So first thing that I would do, because the master, like I said, master branch is really intended to be that what's out there right now to the general public. So it's not content that I'm really developing. So I would probably switch over to another branch, whatever I'm working on. I'm going to switch over to feature 2, and you can see that it's changed in there. All right. So now I am whatever I am going to send up to Central to be reviewed is going to be coming from that feature 2 branch. So this topic that you're seeing right here might look drastically different from this topic if I switch to the master branch, right? Okay, so those are the first things. Also, you want to make sure that when you're in this branch that you are completely synchronized with the files that are up on Central. So you're looking down here and you see these zeros. That's what we want. If we saw some numbers down here, it means, oh, you've got some changes you need to commit. You need to synchronize things. We've already done that. We're good. Okay. All of that to get to the point where we're actually going to create the review package now. So there are different ways to create a review package. Number one, you can just open up a file like this, and what you're sending for review, you're sending topics, and also you can send snippets, which are usually inserted into topics or into other snippets. So you open up the topic and you go to your review ribbon, and you can click send for review, and then you go through the review package. So you can do that, and it just has this one file in here because that's what we had open, but I could add other files into this manually or remove some if I change my mind. Okay, so that's one way to do it. Another way to do it, you can do it from the Content Explorer. So in the Content Explorer, you might decide, hey, I want to send maybe one or more files for review. So what you can do is you can use this split view in the editor. So here I've got this folder selected, and so I've got these right here, and I can select all of these like that, and say send for review. And now it has all three of those topics in there instead of doing one at a time. So that's another thing that you can do. You could also do this from the file list. So view, file list, and I could say, hey, show me my topics in here. And same thing, I could grab a group of these, hold down my control key, whatever I want. And again, go back to my review ribbon, send for review, all those are in there. One of the things that I really like to do actually though, is use the TOC. All right, so open up TOC, and I've got two of them in here, online PDF. And what you can do is you can select certain TOC nodes in here. All of these are linked to whatever files are in my Content Explorer. And maybe I want to send this node right here. And so I can just right click that and select send for review. It opens it up. So I get all three of these topics, right? But the other part of this is that notice down here, it automatically associated it with my online TOC because that's where I initiated it from. If I had used one of those other methods, this down here would say none, but I could manually then choose a TOC to associate it with. I just find this one extra, convenient to do. So now you give the review package a name. Because I initiated it from this particular node, TOC node in my TOC editor, it already supplies me with a name, but I can change it if I want. So maybe module 7 is the name of my project. And so maybe I just want introduction topics like that. Okay. And then I could give it a description, whatever I want, to help differentiate it from other review packages. I already have this in here, the TOC. Again, I could add or remove files from the package if I want, but I'm going to keep these. Click Next. Now, you have the option. Do you want to send this to MadCap Central or to MadCap Contributor, which is our desktop application used for reviews? In this case, we want MadCap Central, so we leave it at that. Click Next. And now I get to choose from all the subject matter experts or authors on my central license. And I am just going to pick a few people in here. I'm going to pick Marge Gunderson, and I'm going to pick Beatrix Kiddo, and let's pick Vinnie Gambini. So I've got some, authors, some subject matter experts in here, and I'm going to click Send. Tells me it's been sent to MadCap Central. Click OK. So that's it. And as we go through the rest of this video, you'll see that review package up on Central. But that's how you create review packages starting in Flare. So you've seen how you can create the review packages from Flare, but you can also do it up in Central. So we're going to take a look at that. So first things, same as in Flare, you want to make sure that you're logged in, you want to make sure that your project's bound, and you want to make sure that all the files are synchronized, which they are. I'm logged in here as myself and going to look at the projects. This is module 7. If you want to create a review package from Central, you have to be an author as the right permissions, and you have to be associated with that project. So this one you can see as I hover over the avatars: Lloyd Dobler, me, Clarice Starling, Vinnie Gambini. All of us can create review packages from here. All right, so let's go look at the review packages. So click on Reviews. So because I'm an author, this is the view that I see on this page, which is more than what a subject matter expert would see. And if I look here in this Review Explorer, where all my packages are, under Sent, you can see this is the review package that I just sent. Previously, I also sent this review package and this review package. And really the easiest way to create a new review package, brand new one here in Central, is just to click this button. But I could also click this grids tab up here, and I get this bigger button, create review package right there. So either way will work. So I'm just going to click this right here, and I get this wizard. I'm going to create another review package for this project. I'm going to call it Module 7, Procedures, FAQs. The idea is I've got a group of procedure topics and I got an FAQs topic, and so I just want to bundle them all together. And I can provide description. My description for procedures and FAQs, whatever you want to put in here, and you don't have to put a description. What's the project? It doesn't know yet, so I have to go select it, Module 7. And what's the branch? Let's say for that same branch that I created the other one for, Feature 2 is what I selected. Okay, so I got that. Now I can click next, or I can just click the next area up here. And the next area is files. So these are the topics I want to send. I select that folder at the top, or the outer checkbox, and it selects everything underneath it. And then that FAQs one is under here, right there. I'm going to select those. This time I'll click next. Now, table of contents. Do I want to associate a table of contents with it? Let's say I do. So click in here and online TOC. So one of the benefits of using Flare was when I created it from that TOC editor, I just right-clicked and said, hey, send this for review. It just automatically added all of those files in that TOC node and put them in there. Here, I'm doing it a little bit differently. I'm selecting the files first. Now I'm selecting the TOC that goes with that. So it might be more convenient to do it from Flare. But creating a review package from Central might be more convenient because you might already be doing work up in Central and you don't want to have to go back into Flare to do it. So that's why this is nice. Click next. Who do I want to review this? So not only is the TOC section optional, but so is the reviewers. Of course, you want reviewers for your review package, but because you're able to adjust review packages after the fact, you don't have to do it here. You could create a review package that doesn't have any reviewers in it initially, and then go change it and add them later if you want. So I'll select the same reviewers that I chose for the other one, just to keep it easy. Beatrix Kiddo, Marge Gunderson, and Vinny Gambini. And I'll click next. That's a summary of everything that I selected, and click Create Review Package. All right, and if I come back over here, there it is. There's my new review package that I've sent out for people. And one thing I do want to show you is that when you select a review package, and we're going to cover a lot of this when we get to the section here soon on managing review packages, the view changes to show these things. But what I want to point out is information you get about a review package over here on the right. This shows you the source. It started from Central, whereas this one, you look over here, the source is Flare. So it lets you know, and you can also open up the profiles for these review packages, and it gives you the same information, the source right there, as well as lots of other information. So that's how you create review packages from inside of Central. So with both of these review packages that I created, I associated them with TOCs. That allows you to see it with a TOC view. So how is that done? Well, all right, over here in this Review Explorer, my packages are listed. See this little icon here. So if I just selected the row itself, it's going to do just what we've seen. It's going to show all this stuff, which is fine. That's great. But if you click this icon right here, you're going to be able to show the files and toggle between the files and TOC view. So the files view shows you exactly what's down here. These are the files, and you could just click one to open that up to edit it. Same down here. But the TOC tab right here, now you're seeing the structure of the TOC. And these, in this review package, these are the topics that I associated with it, the procedure topics and the FAQs. That's why those are bold. And these other things are sort of grayed out, and that's because they weren't part of the review package. But it does give you the overall context of where these topics belong in here in the overall TOC. So reviewers or you could click any of these to open them up from this view as well. Now, one thing I do want to explain to you, if you look at these, you're going to see procedures.htm, procedures1.htm. So these are the file names. But if we go back and look at the Flare project, right under here, it just says procedures, procedure 1, procedure 2, procedure 3. All right, so why am I seeing the file names in there? Well, that has to do with some technical limitations. So what you ideally would want to see are the labels, just as they are here. And you can see the labels in Central, but it depends on whether you're using a variable to display these. So the way that I created these in here in this TOC, all I did was click and drag them in. And when you do that, you see the text is blue. But what it's doing, if I open up the properties for this, you're going to see right here, the label is actually using this variable. And so it's this particular variable is the title of that topic. And you can, of course, you can insert and other variables in there too. So a label might have one or more variables within it. So this particular topic right here, look at the properties, topic properties, the topic title. If I click off of that, you're going to see it always uses the first topic heading. I could replace that with something else if I wanted, but by default, that's what it's doing. The first topic heading is more information, right? And so that's why when I drag it in, it displays that. But because of the technical limitations I was talking about, we're not able to display that variable. We're not able to resolve that variable in the central interface. But if I were to say, click on one of these and I just manually, show it here, procedure 3. So I'm not using a variable. That's why the text is black there. And that we can show in the central interface. So when you are looking at TOC view in Central, what you see here and what reviewers see here, it depends on whether you are using variables or a manually entered label for that TOC node. Okay, so I'm in TOC view, can open up any of these to deal with them. And if I want to get back to where I was, you just use the breadcrumbs here. I was on my Sent tab in the Review Explorer, so I click on Sent, and it takes me right back where I started. So that is what TOC view is all about. Now we're going to dive in to look at managing these review packages once you've sent them up. And by the way, if you hear like chickens and dogs and a little kid in the background, that's sorry about that. That's my life right now. So we have these review packages in here in the Review Explorer. And again, is because I am the owner, I sent these, I see them in my Sent tab. If I had received one, I would be seeing it in the Pending tab if someone had sent it to me, or if I added myself as a reviewer, which you're going to see you can do. So like I sent these to a couple of subject matter experts. I sent it to Vinny Gambini, who is an author. So Vinny Gambini would see these same tabs as me, but he would see these review packages in his Pending tab. And then things just kind of move along. Once they get submitted, they move to submitted. Once they're all closed out, they moved it into archived automatically. They just kind of move through the system like that. Now, managing review packages. Well, I'm mainly talking here about making changes to it. There are other management aspects, such as checking out the review statuses, where, what's going on with these. And I have a section on that coming up after that one. We'll get into that. But this is all about making changes to a review package. Well, first of all, you got to make sure that you are allowed to do that. Well, as the owner of these review packages in here, I'm just automatically allowed. I can open them and I can make changes to them. Whereas someone like Vinny Gambini, he's another author, I sent it to him. Well, he's not the owner, so he needs to make sure he has permission to do it. So he would go up and go to the name, and he would need to have this manage reviews permission. And the same thing, I would need this manage reviews permission if another author initiated a review package and I wanted to be able to make changes to it. So that's something that you'll just need to decide on your authoring team, who gets this permission, who doesn't get it. Okay, now we want to open up a review package and make some changes to it. So this right here, I can click on this one, and I'm going to get this, so I have some information in here, and I can get to my profile by clicking this avatar right here. So that's the review package I opened. I can also go into the grids tab right here. This lists all my packages, right? And so it gives you information about each one, and each one has the avatar. I can open up my profile from there as well. I could also open up the files view, and this shows a flat list of all the files that have been sent for review and shows you the packages. And so I could click the avatar for any of the packages from here. Just wherever you see the avatar for the package, you can click it, open it up. So what can I do in here for this package? All right, I can see all this information in here. This is the overview for that. Okay, but I want to make changes, so I come down here to settings. Well, I can change the name of it if I want. I could change the description. I'm the owner, but I could change it to a different owner. For example, maybe some author creates a review package, but then for some reason they leave the company, and you have this review package out there and they were the owner. Well, if you have the permissions to manage reviews, you can come in here and associate another person, another author, as the owner of this review package. Status. Status of a review package goes between open and closed. Now, it's going to happen automatically. It just happens naturally through the process of reviews, because reviews start by creating the review package, and the reviewers will open it up, make edits, submit it back. Once the package, the files get back into Flare, and the author goes through each one, closes each one of those files, deals with them, accepts them back into Flare, replacing the original file. Once the author does that for the last file in that review package, it will automatically change so that this review package is closed. All right. So you don't normally need to do this. However, maybe there's a situation where you just need to manually come in and close the thing. All right. You can do that. And here's where you would do it. I'm going to come back to this in a little while when we get back to statuses, but I just wanted to briefly touch on it because it's right here in our face. Table of contents. We associated this review package with the online TOC, but I could change that. I could select another TOC in the project, or I could remove this one if I want. So what do we want to do? I'm going to just quickly rename this. I'm going to say company in here because I've got another topic called company, and just want to show you that you can, change this. And I'm going to save that. So the name of the review package is changed. You can see it reflected right there. How about down here, files? So these are the files that are associated with this particular review package. I might decide, looking at this, oh, procedure 3, I really don't want them to review that yet. Change my mind. Let's remove it. It's gone. And I could click down here and I could add other ones. And I said, hey, I want to add that company topic. I changed the name of the review package. Let's add that. So it's right there. So I just made changes to the files in the review package. Not only can I add or remove files, I can do the same with reviewers. Come down here. These are the 3 reviewers that I chose. Maybe I decide I don't want Marge in here. I'll click edit and I could remove Marge from this, but I do want Walter Sobchak. All right, so I can do that. Save this. And now my list of reviewers has changed. I can also add myself as a reviewer. Now, do I have to do that? I'm the owner. Do I need to add myself as a reviewer to make changes in the review editor? No, I actually don't. The way that it works is if I send a review package up to Central to these different people, and I decide, hey, I want to make some changes to it too, because there's some things I forgot to do down in Flare, I can just go to that submitted tab or that sent tab in my Review Explorer, open up these things, open up a file, make changes. I'm not going to have a submit button. It's just going to automatically save things. But I could add myself as a reviewer, so I do get that submit button. I'm going to add myself here, save. Now, why would you want to do that? Well, one thing is, yeah, you get that submit button, but also as we look at these, the statuses, some of that information, the analytics data that gets compiled as the process, as things move through the process. As the owner, unless I add myself as a reviewer, I'm not included in that data. But if I want to be included, like, hey, this percentage is, this number of reviewers have finished this thing. If I want to be included in that, then I would add myself as a reviewer, as I've done here. You can also use this to see activity on the review package, and you could delete a review package altogether. If you send one up and you go, oh man, I don't know what I was thinking, I want to get rid of this. Yeah, just delete the review package. And you can open the review package right from here too. I'll just go ahead and do that. So now I'm right back here. Here's my review package. Things have changed. There's the name change. There's the reviewers have changed. The files have changed. All done. One of the cool things about this review process in Central is that statuses are just kind of peppered everywhere. It's really hard to miss them. So as the review owner, you're always able to see what's going on in this package and the files and the different reviewers. So first of all, let's talk about the different kinds of statuses. Well, there are statuses for reviewers, and those 3 statuses are to do, in progress, or submitted. That's it. Those 3 things. Either they haven't touched the file yet, or they're working on it. They're in progress, but they haven't submitted it yet, or they've finished and they've submitted it. So then there are also statuses for the packages and the files within those. So the package statuses are either it's open or it's closed. So open, it's available for you to get into the package and, edit and, work in it, or it's closed. It's just done. It's been accepted back into Flare. And then for the individual files within a review package, again, you have open, it's available for editing. It's closed. On the Flare side, the Flare author has closed that. So it's put up the gate so that no more edits can be made in Central, or it could be an accepted status, which means the Flare author has gone a step further, and not only have they closed it, they've done all their work and they've accepted it back into Flare, replacing the original file. So those are the 3 statuses for files. So let's take a look at the different places where you can see these things in the interface. So I am going to click on this one, first of all, this review package, and I'm the owner in here, and I get to see this overview area, as do the reviewers. So I get to see, all right, so what's going on with the overall file progress, and what's going on for the users over here, the reviewers. So as you can see here, nothing's been done. And you can also tell by looking down here at the reviewers listed they've got these little circles on there. Well, an open yellow circle means to do, and you hover over it and you can tell to do, to do. And so nobody's done anything on this. And that's why the color up here is this yellow gold thing. And I added myself as a reviewer, so I'm included in all of this information. Now let's go over here to this review package. And in this one, some actual work has been done. Looking up here, the file progress is still, they're all open because nothing has been closed on the Flare side. Even though if I look down here, this getting started topic, well, all three of these reviewers have submitted it. They've done it, but I haven't done anything on the Flare side. I haven't closed it or accepted it. So if I did, then this would change in here. Over here, all users progress. This is an aggregate of what's going on throughout this. So we see that 2 are in progress and 1 has been submitted. 1 file has been submitted, 2 are still in progress. So this one down here, getting started, all 3 reviewers have submitted it. That's what the blue is here. These, it's sort of a mixture. These 2 reviewers have submitted this one, but Vinny Gambini hasn't. And down here, Vinny Gambini hasn't done anything. These 2 are in progress. They're working on it, but they haven't submitted it. So these 2 rows are considered in progress. There's some things have been done, but it still needs to be submitted. So you get that information, and that is the owner's view. Now, if you watch the other video, you're going to be, you'll see a little bit of difference as the reviewers also see this, but they are able to switch between, what's going on with all users and what's my progress. So I am not a reviewer in this. I didn't add myself as a reviewer, and so I don't see that. But in this one, I switched over to this package. I did add myself as a reviewer, so I'm included in that. So I see that drop down. I see my progress versus all users' progress. Click back over on this one. So you see the information there. You also see it over here on the right-hand side. The package area is going to tell you you get the status of the package, which it's open, and also the color of the icon is going to be this gold because it is open. And you look down here to the reviewers, and we don't see anything there. But if I were to open up one of these files in here, right? So some work has been done. Look over here. There's the package information. Now we look down at the reviewers. All right, Marge has submitted this. Beatrix has submitted this. Vinny hasn't started it. It's to do. So you see status information there as well. The other difference you're going to see between owners and reviewers is when you look at the TOC view. So I'm the owner. I'm not part of this review package. I don't see any statuses in here, but I'll quickly show you what a reviewer sees. So I can go back here to this one. This is the package where I did add myself as a reviewer. I open this up, go to TOC view. Now I'm a reviewer, so I get these little bars here, these status indicators. And of course, these would all be different colors. And if you hover over them, it'll tell you what each one is, that for the different files and areas. And because nothing's been done in here, they're all these gold colors. I'm going to go back to this other review package. So you get information in here from this major reviews tab that I can switch over to grids. And because I'm an author, I get access to this. And there's more information that I can get. I can see, again, all of the packages listed. And here's this package that I created and that one. So these are the 2 that you saw me create in this video. They're both open. So this icon is gold. Coming down here, some review packages in the past, they've gone through the whole thing, and so they're closed, and the status column tells you, and the icon changes to blue. I can also come over here to the files grid. And so this lists the flat list of all the files that have been sent for review. The review package lets you know, okay, they're in whatever package. And this gives you the status of those individual files, right? So some of them are open, some are closed, some have been accepted. And when they've been closed or accepted on the Flare side, the icon also changes. You get this little lock thing on it, which means, hey, it's read only up here. You're not going to see you're not going to be able to make edits to it because it's closed or it's accepted. And then over on the right, you see the reviewers. And again, you get those little dots so you can see what the progress is for each reviewer. So lots of places where you can see what's going on. I'm going to come back over here to packages and point something out. And you notice that the review packages I created, they're the names that I just gave them, but some of these have .htm. They're just, these look like these are file names. Yeah, and here's a snippet down here. Well, why is that? Well, if you're using an older version of Flare, and that's why I recommend you use the most recent one, you're not able to send packages. You're only able to send individual files up to Central. And so these are packages, but they're one file packages. So everything, if you have existing reviews up on Central, and then, you see the newness of these review packages, you're going to see these. And if you open them, that one I don't have access to. Let's come down here to one I do have access to. And you can see this is a review package, see, packages, but it's just one file in it. That is what's going on there. Now, before we finish up this section, I do want to come back to changing statuses. And as I've said before, if you just let things naturally happen through the progress, the statuses of files and of packages is going to change automatically from open to closed or accepted. If you do find yourself needing to manually change one, you can change the status of a package or of a file. And again, you go into the profile and go into settings, and I could change this from open to closed like that, and click save and close out of this, and see, it closed it like that. And I could do the same thing with files. I could come in here. Now, all these, because I closed that package, these are all closed. Now, the file's in there, but I could close an individual file as well. Just click on that and come in here to settings and change it to closed or accepted, and click save, close out of that. Now that one is closed. So you can do that, although you probably won't do that very often, if at all. You can also do it in bulk. So maybe I want to use these check boxes over here, select multiple ones, and I could come up here to change the status. And so you can do it from here as well. It's the same thing as just bulk select, and I could do it for packages. Same thing. I could select multiple ones, change the status in here. Now, what I want to show you is if you have one of these that is closed, in this case, I close this package, and let's say that I decide, no, I changed my mind, I'm going to reopen it. You're going to get this checkbox down here, reset reviewer statuses to do. So I'm on a package here, and it's going to do more than that. You select this, and what's going to happen is, all right, it'll open it back up. But what this will do is all of those reviewers, even though they've gone through the process, it's going to set them all the way back to do. And it's also going to set all of the files within there to open. If I deselected this and I saved this, those files would still be closed in there, and I would need to go into each one manually and open them. So that's just a little tip for you. And I'll go ahead and click that and click save. Right? All done with that. So lots of places where you can check out statuses, not only for packages and files, but for reviewers as well. All right, so now we're down to basically the end of the process. We've assumed that all of these reviewers in here have gone into the editor and they've made changes and they've whatever, and they've submitted it. And all of these icons let us know that's happened, and so does this up here. They're all submitted. And if you choose to receive notifications, you should get, so you'll get notified. And let me click here and go to notifications. And if I come down here, you can see I selected review completed. So, and I chose email, so I should get an email when it's ready for me. So the next thing that I want to do is go into Flare to deal with these. And then before I get into Flare, one of the things that we talked about early on when we created the review package was doing it from a specific branch. And so you might want to just look over after you've opened up the review package and see, remind yourself, what branch was I using? Oh, in this case, it's feature 2. That's going to be important because you want to switch to that branch when you get back into Flare to pull these things in. So let's go into Flare. Right, I'm in Flare, but if I glance down at the bottom, you're going to see, oh, I'm on the release branch. I need to switch over to my feature branch. Okay, so I'm on that. And now I go into my file reviews. So the review ribbon right here. And you might need to refresh it. And sometimes you need to do that. And if you look in here in the inbox, so I've got inbox and I've got things that I've sent, so you can track what's going on in here. If I select over to sent, there's a whole lot more in here. There's things out that haven't been brought back in. But go to inbox, those are the things that are ready for me. So these are the 3 topics from that review package. Feature 2. So that's another way you can tell. If you don't remember to look at it in Central, you come in here and this will remind you, oh, go to that branch. There's my package, all that stuff. Yeah, there were changes on all of these. So what we want to do is just go through each one of these. Now these buttons up here, there are different things you can do. You can open these things, open the reviewed file, open the source file. You can accept the file back in, but normally you want to go in and deal with changes first. And then this closes the review process. And that will import a review package. That's a different thing. So what I usually like to do, though, is I don't often use those buttons. I'll just double click this, and you're going to get this message, and it's asking you, do you want to move the file to a closed state? So again, a closed state for a file means you're shutting the gate on the central side. So on the central side, that file would turn into read-only. Nobody would be able to make any more review changes, and then you can deal with it. If you choose no, it's going to keep it open on the central side so that people could continue to make changes, but you could still look at it in a read-only view here. So I'm going to select no, and it opens it up and it lets me know this is read-only. You're not going to be able to make edits in this, but you can at least see what people have done. And in this one, it's just, these 3 reviewers have each just added their name basically in here. All right, so let's say that you are ready to go and deal with their edits. I'm going to double click it again. This time I'm going to select yes. So it's the opposite here. Now it opens it up. It's not read-only here, but it is read-only up on Central. All right, so now I can just go through each one of these. I could right-click on this and I could accept or reject this. I'll accept it. Or you could come up here to the review ribbon and you could choose to accept all the changes or reject all the changes, whatever you want to do. And so I'm going to just accept all of these things. I'm going to save it. All right, so what I've done so far is I closed it out. I've even gone in and I have, I need to accept that. There we go. Accept those. I've done that. I've saved. What I haven't done is I haven't accepted it back into Flare. So it hasn't replaced the original file yet. It's the reviewed topic in here. Let's go back into Central real quick and see what's happened in the interface. So in here, I'm just going to refresh. And notice what's happened. This file is the only one we've dealt with so far, and it was moved to closed status. And it's got the little lock on it. And this thing changed up here too, saying one of the files has been closed, two are still open. All right, let's go back one more time into Flare. Now I'm going to accept it back into my project. Click that, and it just kind of goes away. What it's done is it has replaced the original file. That's all done. And now I only have two of these that are submitted. Let's go back into Central, and I will refresh. And now this is changed to accepted. One file is accepted, two are still open, and the status changes down there as well. Back into Flare. Now let's just go through each one of these. We're going to close them out. And in this one, I've got these three edits. I'm going to accept all my changes. And I am going to delete this annotation from Beatrix. There we go. Save it, accept it back in. Now I'm down to one. Open this up, close it. Let's go and let's accept all the changes in here and save it and accept it back in. And that should clear out our inbox. And it is. And if we go back into Central and we refresh, well, now all of these are accepted. If I go into my grids view, you're going to see that not only did all that happen, but my package itself was set automatically to closed. I didn't need to go in and manually do anything, and the icon has changed. Also, let's go back. So now I don't have that review package in sent anymore. It's all been dealt with. It's done, and things should move over into archived. So that is reviews from Flare into Central. All right, so thank you for watching. We'll talk to you next time.